suppose the problem says you need to find the basic feasible solutions
मीटिंग में नहीं था
following set of equations. And the system of equations is like 2x1 plus 3x2 minus x3 plus 4x4 equal to 8, x1 minus 2x2 plus 6x3 minus 7x4 equal to minus 3. Okay, so this is what we are given, a system comprising of two equations and four variables. We are required to find out the basic feasible solutions. Can you tell me, there can be at the maximum how many basic variables in this case?
2.
Yes. So the calculation that we do for the general case, how did you get this number 2?
2.
Yes?
2.
4C2, right? The number of combinations of four things taken two at a time, 4C2. So basically, that would imply that how many non-basic variables will be there at a time? Again, 2, right? If you have two basic variables, then two non-basic variables at a time. And you know, if we kind of move systematically, we have rather this is equal to how much? What are the possibilities? 4C2 would be 6. Am I right? We can have at the maximum 6 basic solutions. Okay. So firstly, if I assign x1 and x2 to be equal to 0, that is x1 and x2 are non-basic, then can you tell me what is the condition behind x3 and x4 to be basic variables? When can I say that x3 and x4 would be the basic variables?
When the determinant is non-zero.
Very good. When the determinant comprising of the coefficients of x3 and x4, that is -1, 6, 4, -7, this is non-zero. And of course, this is non-zero. So the solution that we are going to get would be basic. But the next thing that we need to check is about their feasibility. Am I right? So for that, we need to solve the given system of linear equations. That is, we need to solve out 6x3 minus 7x4 equal to -3. Can you quickly tell me the solution to this one? Can you quickly tell me the solution to this one? x1 and x2 are 0. What about the values of x3 and x4? Sorry, x1 equal to x2 equal to 0. Thank you. Yes. So what are x3 and x4? Quickly. Okay, what is x3? What is x3?
Ma'am, fraction as
Ashokna, no problem.
Ma'am,
Solve.
2.56, x3 হচ্ছে 2.56 and x4 হচ্ছে 2.64.
2.58 or 2.64? So
42 by 17 and 45 by 17, right?
yes, ma'am.
So this is how we, tell me one thing, is it feasible? Can we say that it is a basic feasible solution? Basic, though, we are agreeing all that it is basic, right? Because the determinant value is not equal to 0. But apart from being basic, is it a feasible solution also? What is meant by feasibility? Feasible implies?
And these solutions are allowed for the following set of equations.
Pardon, once again?
These solutions are allowed for the following set of equations to have.
That implies you say that it is feasible, am I right?
Yes, this is a feasible solution.
Exactly. By feasible, we mean they should satisfy the non-negativity condition, right? So this is one solution which is basic and feasible. I hope I am okay with this. I hope I am okay with this. Now, see, as the question demands, you are required to figure out all the possible basic feasible solutions. So the next set can be, once you consider x1 and x3 as the non-basic variable. Am I right? Am I right? Are we okay with the logic of mine?
Yes, ma'am.
Acha, fine. Just tell me one thing, just asking, if x1 and x3 are regarded as non-basic, that would imply we are assuming x2 and x4 as the basic variables, and we are going to check if they are basic or not. We will be calculating the determinant comprising of the elements 3 minus 2 first column, 4 minus 7 second column, and this is definitely not equal to 0. So yes, it is basic. That's all we agree with. Now tell me, just this one only, we won't be doing all those explicitly, the remaining ones. Just tell me whether this solution is going to be feasible or not. That implies once you are solving 3x2 plus 4x4 equal to 8, minus 2x2 minus 7x4 equal to minus 3. Tell me whether this solution is feasible or not.
Yes, this solution should be feasible because they are in parallel lines and they lie in the same plane, so they should intersect somewhere.
Are they parallel lines?
They are in parallel lines, so as they lie in the same plane, they should intersect somewhere, I was saying.
The point is they may intersect, but by feasibility we mean, are they intersecting in the positive quadrant?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Exactly.
No, ma'am, not
Yes.
feasible.
Exactly. So this is a case where the solution is basic but not feasible. Am I okay with this? Am I okay with this? Because the
Yes,
solution
ma'am.
that you should be getting would be 0, then it is 44 by 13. Am I right? Then again 0 and minus 7 by 13. Is my calculation correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this implies where the first one was a case of a basic feasible solution, this one is a case of basic non-feasible solution. Okay, so I hope in this manner you will be able to find out the remaining solutions as well. We need to take into account all the 6 cases one by one, and depending on their non-negativity, the determinant value, we will be concluding whether the solution is basic and feasible. Right? Do I need to do all the remaining? Yes?
Ma'am, no, ma'am. I just had one question. That is it possible to eliminate some pairs upon some basic observations that they won't give any feasible solution?
So it's not possible to eliminate by simple taking a look at the pattern and recognizing. There is no way out. There is no way out. Okay. Achha, so I am not doing the remaining ones explicitly. I would expect you to do the ones. Now, tell me one thing. Suppose I give you a very simple question that says that, is the feasible solution x1 equal to 1, x2 equal to 1, x3 equal to 0, x4 equal to 2 to the system x1 plus x2 plus x3 equal to 2, x1 plus x2 minus 3x3 equal to 2, 2x1 plus 4x2 plus 3x3 minus x4 equal to 4, basic. You are given a feasible solution to a system. You are to find out whether the given feasible solution is basic or not. Can you tell me what is the way out for this kind of problems? How do we proceed with this one? By taking a look at the solution that is given to us, can you tell me which one is regarded as the non-basic variable?
Oh.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. So we are getting that x3 is the non-basic variable. That implies the solution is basic provided the determinant comprising of the columns of x1, x2 and x4 would be non-zero. Am I right? So we need to find out whether the coefficients of x1 column wise, that is 1, 1, 2, the coefficient of x2 column wise, that is 1, 1, 4, and the coefficient of x4 column wise, that is 0, 0, minus 1, whether this is not equal to 0 or not, and the value would be 0. That implies the solution is not basic. Am I correct? Are we okay with this? Now, You know about linearly dependent and independent vectors? Have you heard about the terms? For example, just let me give you a very easy case. Although this is not explicitly in our syllabus, but just to let you know, suppose I have vectors in the form 1, 2, minus 1. I have another vector 3, 6, minus 3. And I have another vector 5, 9, 8. Okay. This is our alpha 1. This is our alpha 2. And this is our alpha 3. Okay. Now the target is to find out scalar quantities, say C1, C2, and C3, such that C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus C3 alpha 3 is equal to theta. What is theta? Theta being the null vector. Okay. Now, if I call this one as equation number 1, if equation number is if 1 is satisfied, only for C1, C2, C3 all being equal to 0, we say that the vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 are linearly independent. I think one of you, Gourangi, I think the other day wrote to me in chat about linearly independent vectors, if I'm not wrong. Did you write it, Gourangi, in the chat? Is Gourangi present in the class today?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you the one who wrote to me in the chat about linearly independent vectors?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So linearly independent, what does it imply? It implies when you cannot express one vector in terms of the other. Whereas linear dependent implies when you can express one vector in terms of the other. For example, the set that I assume, see, if I consider C1 to be 3 and C2 to be minus 1, we are getting 3 into 1 to minus 1 plus minus 1 into 3, 6 minus 3 plus say 0 into 5, 9, 8. Will that lead to 0, 0, 0? Will that lead to 0, 0, 0?
Yes.
Am I okay with this? Am I okay
Yes,
with
ma'am.
this?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
implies you can have non-zero C1 and C2 so that the resultant is the null vector. On the other hand, if I consider the unit vectors of three-dimensional space, that is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, and I want to find out, say, a C1, C2, C3 such that the resultant is the origin, that is 0, 0, 0. Can we find out non-zero values of C1, C2, and C3? Is it possible?
No.
No, ma'am.
Not possible. This implies we can never express these unit vectors in terms of the other.
Ma'am, can you
Am I
repeat this
right?
part?
What I'm trying to say is, do you agree that if I call this one as equation 1 and equation 2, do you agree that for equation number 2, C1, C2, C3, C1 has to be equal to 0, C2 has to be equal to 0, and C3 has to be equal to 0, so that the right hand side is the corresponding null vector? Do you agree to this?
Yes, ma'am.
Achha. But for the first case, we can have at least one non-zero value of a Ci for which the resultant is equal to 0.
Yes, ma'am.
See, you are getting this 3 and you are getting this one as -1. This implies what? This implies you can express this vector alpha 2 in terms of the vector alpha 1. Isn't it? You can always express 3, 6, -3 as 3 times 1, 2, -1. So we are expressing one vector in terms of the other. But in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
second case, it's not possible to express the unit vector along the y-axis as a constant multiple of the unit vector along the x-axis. It's not possible. Right? Are we okay with this?
Yes,
Are we
ma'am.
okay
Yes,
till
ma'am.
this? Now,
Yes, ma'am.
Now, on the contrary, if I try to find out the determinant arising from the vectors alpha 1, alpha 2, and alpha 3, that implies column wise, if I write 1, 2, -1, 3, 6, -3, 5, 9, 8, this value would be equal to how much?
0.
It's obviously 0. Isn't it? Because all the elements of the second column are constant multiples of the elements of the first column. The value would be equal to 0. On the other hand, if I consider the determinant arising of the elements of the second equation, that is 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, the value is always non-zero. That implies by basic solution, we mean the vectors that we are concerned with will be linearly independent in nature. Am I correct with this? Am I correct with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, is everybody okay with this logic of mine that I'm trying to say? হ্যাঁ, তুমি যদি স্পেসিফিক্যালি বলো তাহলে আমার তোমাদের অসুবিধাটা বুঝতে সুবিধা হয় যে কোন জায়গাটা তোমার স্পেসিফিক্যালি প্রবলেম হচ্ছে। লিনিয়ারলি ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট তো কেন ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট মানে কি? আমি একটাকে আরেকটা টার্মে এক্সপ্রেস করতে পারছি না, তার মানে ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স, তাই তো? এবারে তুমি দেখো, আমি ইফ আই ট্রাই টু ফাইন্ড আউট দ্য ডিটারমিনেন্ট অ্যারাইজিং অফ দিস ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট ভেক্টরস, তার ভ্যালুটা কি? ভ্যালু উইল বি ইকুয়াল টু 0. Sorry, value would be not equal to 0, right? On the other hand, if I try to find out the determinant arising of the linearly dependent vectors, the value would always be equal to 0. Why? Because all the elements of a column are multiples of the other column. Isn't it? So hence, if you remember, I told you this thing. Did I write it anywhere? Just a moment. Yes, this is the reason why I mentioned if any M cross M non-singular matrix is chosen, non-singular matrix be chosen from capital A. This is why I mentioned about the term non-singular matrix. Why non-singular? The reason is I want a basic solution. For a basic solution, the corresponding determinant value has to be not equal to 0. Hence, our main motive is to figure out one such non-singular matrix. Am I okay with this? Am I okay with this? Fine. So I hope this part till this is okay with everybody. I hope this part till this is okay with everyone. Tell me, any problem as of now? Any problem? Any problem? Achha, suppose I give you a pretty simple question to do. I tell you to find all the basic solutions of 2x1 plus x2 plus 4x3 equal to 11, 3x1 plus x2 plus 5x3 equal to 14. This is simpler than the previous one because this has got two equations and 3 variables. So can you tell me at the maximum there can be how many basic solutions?
3.
Right. At the max, we can have 3C2 equal to 3 basic solutions. Achha, why did I write at the max? Why did I not write that we can have 3 basic solutions?
Because the determinants, if they are equal to 0, it may not be basic.
Exactly, because every time we need to see whether the determinant value is not equal to 0 or not. Am I right? If it so happens that determinant becomes equal to 0, the solution would no longer be basic. Why? Because the corresponding vectors are not independent in nature. So that is the thing. That is the reason why I'm mentioning that at the max we can have 3 basic solutions. So this implies we will be having one non-basic variable at a time. So the 3 cases would be, although this is your homework, just I will have a quick discussion. So first we will be assuming that x1 is non-basic. So we will put x1 equal to 0. That implies we will need to check whether the determinant of the variables x2 and x3, that is 1, 1, 4, 5, whether this is not equal to 0 or not. And this is obviously not equal to 0. So that implies there's a possibility of getting a basic, we will get a basic solution. And see, for this case, I have not used the term feasible. Am I right? So this implies you need to write down all the basic solutions that are going to come as your answers. Am I clear with this? Am I clear with this? So can this one be left as your homework?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are now moving on to the next category. Can I leave this part? Are you all okay with this basic feasible solutions and all? Achha, fine. Prior to moving, I would like to tell you one more term that we generally use, which is the degenerate and non-degenerate. What is degenerate? If it so happens that one of the basic variables vanish, that is become equal to 0, the solution is said to be degenerate basic solution. And if none of the basic variables vanish, it is said to be a non-degenerate basic solution. I mean, just giving you an example, just an arbitrary case. Over here, once I put x3 equal to 0, suppose the solution that I get is 0, half, 0. Just an arbitrary case, not the actual calculation. So that implies, what was x1? x1 was supposed to be a basic variable. Am I right? Am I right? So if you're assuming x3 to be non-basic, and suppose x1 becomes equal to 0, x1 though being basic becomes equal to 0, the solution is said to be a degenerate, basic, feasible solution. Am I okay with this? Am I okay with this? But in reality, had you replaced x3 with 0, that is, had you made x3 as non-basic, the actual solution would be 350. That implies none of the basic variables are vanishing. So this one we can further categorize and say that it is a non-degenerate, basic, feasible solution. Are we okay with this? Are we okay with this?
Ma'am, can you repeat once?
Yes. What I'm trying to tell you is, if one of the basic variables vanish, like the case that I assumed, suppose x3 is your non-basic variable. Okay, then what do we need to do? We need to solve a 2x2 system comprising of x1 and x2 as your variables, right? And
Yes.
suppose arbitrarily the value of x1 becomes 0. Okay, and this is what we get at the end.
Which has a
Since
solution.
the basic variable x1 vanishes, we say that it is a degenerate, basic, feasible solution.
Okay, ma'am. মানে solution it will become 0 then.
আমি সলভ করতে গিয়ে দেখলাম একটা ভ্যারিয়েবলের ভ্যালু 0 চলে এলো।
আচ্ছা।
তার মানে আমি সেটাকে বলছি ডিজেনারেট বেসিক ফিজিবল সলিউশন। কিন্তু তুমি যদি অ্যাকচুয়ালি সলভ করো উইথ x3 টু বি ইকুয়াল টু 0, you will find that this would come as the solution. তার মানে none of the basic variables are vanishing or becoming equal to 0. তাই আমরা এটাকে বলছি নন ডিজেনারেট বেসিক ফিজিবল সলিউশন।
Okay, ma'am.
ঠিক আছে? So I hope all your confusions regarding basic, feasible, degenerate, non-degenerate is clear so far. Am I right? Am I right? Are we can I say that you have understood these all terms properly? What is meant by basic? What is meant by feasible? What is meant by degenerate? What is non-degenerate? And how, what kind of solutions actually a linear programming problem may have? The other day I told you that we can have a unique solution, infinitely many solution, no solution, or an unbounded solution. Can I say that you have understood till this so far? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now we will be moving to a special type of linear programming problem known as the transportation problem. This is the transportation problem. What is this? I'll tell you how this is a special type of a linear programming problem. First, please, I would request you to read the lines that are written. It says that a firm manufacturing a single product has got 3 factories, F1, F2, and F3. And there are 4 major warehouses, W1, W2, W3, and W4. X21, x22, x23, x24, x31, x32, x33, x34. Okay, so 16 is the cost of transporting a unit product. This 16, if I put it inside a circle, this 16 is the cost of transporting a unit product from F1 to W1, and X11 is the number of units that is transported from F1 to W1. Am I okay with this? Am I okay with this? Am I okay with this or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So your objective is to minimize the total transportation cost. So can you tell me, if I try to formulate the given problem as a linear programming problem, what would be our objective function? We would like to minimize the total transportation cost, right? So if I try to give this the shape of a linear programming problem, your target would be to minimize the total transportation cost. So we will write it as minimize Z equal to, what is the transportation cost? Yes? What is this 16? What is 16? 16 is the cost of transporting a unit product from F1 to W1. And what is X11? X11 is the number of units that is transported. So what would be the cost of transportation from F1 to W1?
16x11.
Next one.
Right. 16x11 plus you will have 18x12 plus 8x13 plus 5x14 plus 5x21 plus 11x22 plus 9x23 plus 7x24 plus 8x31 plus 9x32 plus 7x33 plus 13x34. Am I okay with this objective function?
Yes.
Fantastic. So as we know the structure of a linear programming problem, first we have the objective function, then we have a set of constraints. So what are the constraints right here? What are the constraints in this case? F1 is supplying X11 units to W1. It is supplying X12 units to W2.
Some of the
X1
rows will be some of the rows will be
the
greater
rows
than
has
equal
to
to
be
0 and less than equal to 30.
Yeah.
So as you are saying, it is X11 plus X12 plus X13 plus X14 should be less than equal to 30. Subject to. Similarly, you have X21 plus X22 plus x23 plus x24 less than equal to 40. x31 plus x32 plus x33 plus x34 less than equal to 50. Any other constraint that you can think of?
Some of the columns has to be
Exactly.
Less than
less
demand.
than demand.
Guys, you have x11 plus x21 plus x31 less than equal to 35. Then you have x12 plus x22 plus x32 less than equal to 28. You have x13 plus x23 plus x33 less than equal to 32. And finally, you have x14 plus x24 plus x34 less than equal to 25, I guess. And all these units, that is xij, would be greater than equal to 0. I running from 1, 2, 3. J runs from 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I correct? Are we okay with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, considering, if I consider this xij's, I mean, if I consider that, yes, this x11 plus x12 plus x13 plus x14 is equal to the supply. Okay, that implies we are abiding by the conditions that is given to us. We are able to, the factory F1 is able to produce units that is equal to the supply. Then, we kind of have xij equal to ai. Can I write? Where j runs from 1 to n and I would be 1 to m. The general case. Can I write it like this? Rather, it is sigma haben, I'm sorry. Can I write it like this? If I assume that the factory is able to produce the units that it is going to supply. So can I write it like this? Row wise?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, the
Ma'am, এটা ঠিক
column wise,
বুঝলাম না।
আমি যদি ফার্স্ট কলামটাকে অ্যাড করি, আমি ধরে নিচ্ছি যে যতটা সাপ্লাই ফ্যাক্টরি F1 ততটাই প্রডিউস করতে পারছে। বুঝতে পারছো? আমি ধরে নিচ্ছি যে x11 plus x12 plus x13 plus x14 is equal to 30.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
A1, this is A2, this is A3, this is B1, this is B2, this is B3, and this is B4. আচ্ছা, সুবিধার জন্য ধরা যাক we are having a system suppose there are origins O1, O2 up to OM, and we have destinations D1, D2 up to DN. Okay. O1 can supply A1 units, O2 can supply A2 units. In this manner, OM can supply AM units. D1 has a demand of B1 units. D2 has a demand of B2 units. DN has a demand of DN units. Can I write it like this? Can I write it like this? Where AIs are the row requirement availability, and BJ are the column requirements. It's the demand you can see. পারি বলতে?
Yes, ma'am.
আচ্ছা তাহলে you know and of course this is my x11 x12 up to x1n x21 x22 x2n in this manner, xm1 xm2 xmn. So from the first row, can I have this equation? That, you know, summation j running from 1 to n, xij is equal to ai. Can I have this?
Yes.
And similarly, if I make the summation along the column, that is xij, where I runs from 1 to m, would be equal to bj, where j can take values from 1 to n. Just the ideal case, where the origins are able to produce the total supply, that is A1, A2, and so on, and the destinations, the summation is equal to the total demand, that is B1, B2 up to Bn. Can I make it like this? Can I make it like this? Is equation 1 and equation number 2 okay with everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you know, if I further make the summation over equation number 1, that is summation I running from 1 to m, summation j running from 1 to n, xij would be equal to I running from 1 to m, ai. Time, and similarly, for the second equation, we have I running from 1 to m, j running from 1 to n, xij is equal to j running from 1 to n, bj. That, am I okay with this? Am I okay with this? Are we okay with these two equations?
Yes, ma'am.
This implies what we can actually conclude is ai, I running from 1 to m, would be equal to bj, j running from 1 to n. That is, you know, total supply would be equal to total demand, in order that the problem has a feasible solution. So I think it's 1:19. I do have a class right now. We will be